Sydney McLaughlin Levrone. Keep your eye on the clock here for a 400-meter flat season opener, 48.76. Wow. Just outside the US national record, which has stood for...
When Sydney McLaughlin Levrone stepped onto that track in Tokyo, nobody knew they were about to watch history. What she did that day had never been done before by any woman in the entire world. Let's talk about what just happened in 2025 because this story is absolutely incredible. Sydney McLaughlin Levrone just won the biggest award in track and field. She was named World Athlete of the Year. But here's the thing. This wasn't just about one award. This was about doing something that seemed impossible. So what exactly did she do? Well, Sydney became the first woman ever to win world championships in 2 different races. She won the 400-meter hurdles, which is running a full lap around the track while jumping over 10 barriers. And she also won the regular 400 meters, which is just running that same distance as fast as you can with no hurdles at all. No woman in history had ever done both. Think about how hard that is. It's like being the best at 2 completely different sports at the same time. The hurdles need perfect timing and jumping skills. The flat race needs pure speed and strength. Sydney mastered both. The big moment came at the World Championships in Tokyo in September. Everyone was watching to see what Sydney could do. She hadn't run the flat 400 meters as her main race before. She was stepping way outside her comfort zone. In the semifinals, Sydney ran 48.29 seconds. That broke the American record. People were already going crazy, but she wasn't done yet.
Nikisha Price and Amber Anning battling it out for the final automatic spot, and Veal's coming for Chile as well, but McLaughlin Levrone, 48.30, she's done it.
2 days later came the final race. It was raining that night in Tokyo. The track was wet and slippery. Sydney later talked about that rain. She said, "My biggest worry was, are we going to get all the way to the stadium, warmed up, and then there's a weather delay at 10:30 p.m. So for it to just be some light rain, I was like, this is great." When the gun went off, Sydney exploded out of the blocks. She ran the race of her life. When she crossed that finish line, the clock showed 47.78 seconds. The stadium erupted in cheers. That time made her the second fastest woman in history. Only one woman has ever run faster, a German runner named Marita Koch, who ran 47.60 way back in 1985. That was 40 years ago. Sydney came within just 0.18 seconds of breaking that ancient record. Sydney also smashed a 42-year-old championship record, and she made history as the first athlete ever to win world titles in both the 400 meters and 400-meter hurdles.
But Paulino's coming back. She's not beaten yet. This is so close. McLaughlin Levrone for history. She's driving for the line, and she's done it! 47.80.
She had won the hurdles title back in 2022, and now she added the flat 400 to her collection. But wait, there's more. On the last day of the championship, Sydney ran again, this time in the relay race with her American teammates. Even though it was still raining, she anchored her team to another gold medal. Her split time was 47.82 seconds, helping set a meet record. So Sydney left Tokyo with 2 gold medals and her name in the history books forever.
Straight, less than 50 metres to go. The Jamaicans are holding on to second place, but it is Sydney McLaughlin Levrone and gold for the US team in the women's 4x400.
Now let's talk about why 2025 was so special for her. Sydney decided to do something different this year. For most of her career, she focused on the hurdles. She's the world record holder there with a time of 50.37 seconds. She's won 2 Olympic gold medals in that event. She's basically unstoppable. But Sydney wanted a new challenge. She said, "For me, 2025 was a year of stepping outside of the comfort zone and pushing the bounds of what was mentally and physically possible. I want to continue pushing boundaries in 2026. She explained that switching to the flat 400 was really hard. She told this to the reporters, "The 400 is just more of a mental game than the hurdles. You would think, hurdling, the steps. But there's a lot more thinking involved. I miss the hurdles a little bit when I'm running." And get this, Sydney hasn't lost a race in 2 years. Not in the hurdles, not in the flat 400, nothing. She's on a 24-race winning streak in the hurdles alone. That's total dominance. Throughout 2025, Sydney kept getting faster and better. In April, she ran 50.32 in the 400 meters in windy conditions in Jamaica.
in the home straight there, but it's McLaughlin Levrone who's going to come through to make it 2 wins in the women's long hurdles. It's 50.32.
In May, she ran 52.07 in the hurdles in Miami. She even tried the 100-meter hurdles in Philadelphia just for fun.
Last one taken beautifully. Now she could stride for the line. Let's just watch the clock here. It's 52.07.
By the time she got to Tokyo, she was ready for something special. When Sydney won World Athlete of the Year, she wasn't at the ceremony in Monaco, but she sent a video message. She said, "Wow, I'm honestly blown away to win this. Thank you so much, World Athletics, for this honor and recognition. The culmination of the season in Tokyo was a really special moment. I'm so thankful for everyone who supported, watched, voted, and who was there throughout this whole process." She also said something really important about track and field. Track and field is, I believe, the best sport in the world. I want to continue to show the world that we are some of the best athletes around. This is actually the second time Sydney has won World Athlete of the Year. She also won it in 2022. She's only 26 years old, and she's already at the very top of her sport. Let's look at her incredible hurdles record too. Sydney holds the world record at 50.37 seconds. She set that at the Paris Olympics in 2024 when she won her second Olympic gold medal. Before that, she had broken the world record 6 times in less than 4 years. She was the first woman ever to run the hurdles faster than 52 seconds. Then she was the first to break 51 seconds. She keeps pushing the limits of what people thought was possible. Right now, she holds 6 of the 10 fastest times ever run in the 400-meter hurdles. Sydney actually competed in her first Olympics when she was just 16 years old. That was back in 2016 in Rio. She was the youngest person to make the American Olympic track team since 1980. Even back then, people knew she was special. She comes from a family of runners. Her dad ran the 400 meters and almost made the Olympics in 1984. Her mom ran the 800 meters in high school. Her brother won a silver medal at the World Youth Championships. Running is in her blood. In high school, Sydney was already breaking records. She won national championships and was on the cover of Sports Illustrated when she was just 17. The magazine called her one of the most dominant high school athletes ever. Now, with everything Sydney accomplished in 2025, people are wondering what comes next. She talked about the wet track in Tokyo and whether it cost her the world record. It's fun to think about maybe what the difference would have been. But I can't complain with 47.7. Sydney is already looking ahead. The next Olympics will be in Los Angeles in 2028. That's her home now. She said, "To be able to run in the Coliseum would be just such an honor. That's what motivates me. Nobody knows yet which races she'll do in Los Angeles. Will she go back to the hurdles? Will she stick with the flat 400? Maybe she'll do both. One thing is certain, Sydney isn't satisfied yet." When asked if she's content with her achievements, she said, "I'm not fully content there either. I definitely want to take a moment just to enjoy, breathe, and take some time off." But her eyes are still on that 40-year-old world record in the 400 meters. She wants to break it, and after what we saw in Tokyo, nobody should bet against her.